Hi, this is Holly from STEMopotamus.com. Today we're on location and we're going to be interviewing a woman who has created an entire business around removing wildlife from people's attics and garages, and she does it with the science of animal behavior. We'd like to introduce you to Bonnie Bradshaw, the president of 911 Wildlife, and she will be showing us some common misconceptions about the animals that live around us and what you can do about it. I hope you enjoy.
My name is Bonnie Bradshaw and I'm president of 911 Wildlife, and the purpose of 911 Wildlife is to provide fast, affordable, humane wildlife solutions to homeowners and property managers. The reason we want to do that is because that's the best way for us to prevent animals from being orphaned, and so we excel in providing accurate information for homeowners who have any kind of question about wildlife.
So I was going through your quiz, and this is something that you were saying is that people from our country know a lot more about animals from other countries than we do about the ones in our backyard. And she's got a quiz here with common misconceptions about how dangerous animals are, or whether we think we're doing the right thing when we try to rescue an animal in our backyard. And rather than going through the whole quiz, can you tell us a little bit about the animals that you have on your booth here and some of the misconceptions and how we can actually help them?
Sure. These are the animals, these are the species that actually increase in number in the city, because these animals find more food around residential neighborhoods than they do out in a rural area. So a lot of what we found in scientific studies about these animals is counterintuitive, is the opposite of what people would normally think. A lot of times people think that coyotes and bobcats are in the neighborhood because of construction that's gone on, and that's flushed animals into the neighborhood that don't want to be there. But the opposite is true. The coyotes and the bobcats are in the neighborhood because that's where all the rats and squirrels and cottontail rabbits are. And so that's why they're in the neighborhood, is because of the plentiful food supply.
And you may be hearing some dogs barking in the background. We're actually at a pet adoption event, and Bonnie has come to this event to tell us a little bit more about animals, since those of us who are at the event do care a lot about animals. And one thing that, if you have a dog or a cat, you may have seen in your veterinarian's office is a picture of a squirrel and asking if your dog has a rabies shot or not. So can you tell us a little bit about what a common misconception about squirrels and rabies are?
Yeah, a lot of people think that squirrels carry rabies, and that's false. Squirrels are not a rabies vector species. So if somebody is bitten by a squirrel, all they need is a tetanus shot. It's not an animal that transmits rabies at all.
Really? And why did they get that bad reputation, do you think?
I think that people have the idea that all rodents carry diseases, and that's not accurate when it comes to rabies at all.
I see. And then one other thing I see a lot here is, especially in North America, we see a lot about raccoons, and I'm showing here her quiz asking if a live trap is the most humane way to remove squirrels or raccoons from an attic, and you're telling us that that's actually false. Can you tell me more about that?
Right. That's one of our biggest educational hurdles. People think that they're doing the humane thing when they trap an animal in a box trap and take it out to a park or take it out to the country and release it. Well, that's based on intuition, that's based on feelings, but when we use science and put radio collars on animals that have been relocated, we find that they have a 100% mortality rate within 2 weeks.
That means they all, without question,
die.
Do not make it.
Because they're completely disoriented, they don't know where food is, they don't know where shelter is, and they're seen as invaders by the other animals that are already in that territory.
And so on your card here, you've shown us some ways that we can get rid of animals out of our houses without ever coming in contact with them. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that?
Right. It's important when you're hearing noises in your attic to realize that the animal is in the attic because they like it, and it's dark and it's safe and it's quiet, and they're usually looking for a place to give birth, especially if it's during the spring. So we use that animal's natural instincts to evict it rather than capture it. So we would make the attic bright and noisy so that the animal would take their young and leave, instead of trying to capture the animal and take it away. Then once the animal has been evicted, we permanently seal the entry point so that other animals don't move in the future.
So we're looking at animal behavior to have the animal remove itself and keep it out of danger from some other territory, as you've mentioned, is something that we're likely to do. I've actually heard of people who get those have-a-heart traps and they remove squirrels and things and bring them into another territory, as you're saying. You don't really think of it as another territory, but you can bet the animals that live there already think so.
Right. And that's the biggest problem, is people think they're doing the right thing. They think they're being kind, but they don't realize the science tells us otherwise.
Okay. So we've also got some other pictures here, and we are in Texas, and these are some of the animals that you'll see in Texas, but also in California and in other parts of North America. I just mentioned California because I have seen the coyotes on my property before, and bobcats in the canyons, and lots of squirrels and raccoons, and also skunks. So Bonnie, I'd like to thank you very much. And Bonnie, let me just ask you, as we're in closing, where can people get more information about animal behavior so that they don't take what we all think of as common sense, which actually, as I'm finding out from these quizzes, is quite wrong? What do you recommend people can do for more information?
The best thing to do is go to our website, which is 911wildlife.com, and we have information about all of these species.
And is that something that people outside of Texas can look at also?
Definitely.
Well, Bonnie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.